It's time for what I'm calling best of three, and this edition is gonna be toasted. Literally. So I decided at the outset of this that I wanted to do toasted barrel products. Now, I kind of went on the fence because I didn't really want to open this Michters toasted sour mash just yet. I know what I have in this Yellowstone, and obviously you can see I've opened this Elijah Craig toasted barrel. Honestly, they're all relatively in the same proof range, with a Yellowstone being at the top end at the 100, so sue me a little bit, they're not exactly the same. But let's switch things up a bit. Rather than just doing a three-way blind, we're gonna do what's called best of three. What I'm gonna do is pour these in a second, do a ton of mixy. I'll probably speed through that part of the video so you guys don't have to watch, or if you're watching this on the full episode, you may have to watch for a minute. I'll still try to talk you through it or figure out something to talk about. But the main thing is, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna blind all three. I'm actually just gonna pick the first two, whatever they are. I won't know what number they are at that point. Blind those two, put the loser to the side to face off with the other one when waiting, put the winner off to this side, do the next two. The next two, put the winners together. That's our final round, best of the three. Get the idea? Pretty simple concept. Let's pour them up. So I'm gonna pour backwards because it's a little easier for me to reach. You can see I put painter's tape on the bottom with a number, painter's tape on the back, so you guys can see how I'm doing this, so I know which is which at the end of the episode, because I'll be mixing these things up. I'm not gonna pour too much. We just need to be able to go 2 rounds with one of them, so probably a little less than an ounce is gonna do for this, to be honest with you. And then I'm gonna put these off to the side. So not on the camera, but I'll give you a quick peek. I don't know if you'll get a really good view of that, but there you go. Elijah Craig is down. It is the number 3 entrant. Yellowstone toasted. It's a single barrel actually. So that's the one advantage I'll give it, because they are a smaller distillery and we wanted to give them some sort of a leg up potentially. This is something Sarah and I had on our trip to Louisville, and we actually were down at Bardstown. We said, you know what? We've heard great things about Limestone Branch. Let's pop in there, and they did not disappoint in the least. Now, the last one I'm really excited about. I was on the fence about whether I was gonna keep this or not and open it. Ooh, you heard that one, sound like a duck. It is the Michters Sour Mash Toasted, and obviously no secondary value now if I really wanted to, nor would I know trade value. I've heard great things, so it's just time to open this thing. So, I'm gonna drop this on the floor, and then we're gonna get to it.
Alright, so I'm just gonna do this and talk you guys through just mixing matching. There's no way I can possibly be keeping up with this, and what is rare. You guys can probably play on at home if you're good with the Find the Queen game, but I'm not that good at shuffling it, and so that's how that goes. It is what it is.
I can honestly tell you I have no idea what's in any of these glasses at this point after just that little bit of shuffling, because using this and these at the same time doesn't remember this. It's how it goes. All right, so whatever this one is, we're putting it off to the side. It's gonna come back later, but we're gonna go head to head on these and decide which one we like the best. We're doing this fairly quick style, so I'm not gonna draw this out, but I have to give them each a nosing. Gotta say, I do like the nose on this one a little bit. It's a little sweet, maybe even a little honey on the nose, slightly. Honey giving way to some oak as a second sniff. Smell a little neutral spot on your body. That's a tip. If you're not sure, wonder why people smell their wrists or their forearms. You wanna smell somewhere else in your body. You're used to your own smell. It helps you get back a little bit to central with your passages in your nose. Not quite, but close enough. This one's way more intense on the oakiness, on the finish. And a little sweetness shining through there. That one reminds me a little bit of sweet tea off just the rip of the nose. So those are first thoughts. I'm not trying to make this thing super long. I'm trying to respect your time here. Let's do a little tasty. Let's see where we're at. So we're gonna go A, B, B, A. Ooh, that hits nice. That's got some vanillas, almost some stone fruit in there a little bit. Not big heavy flavors of it. And then just nice toasted oak. That is what I like in a toasted barrel. Let's see if this guy has anything for it. This is a little thinner right off the rip. I can just tell when you're A-Bing. But what you get here is actually super nice in that, whereas this one, I got, all those flavors. I just get this nice sweet experience up front that expands just a little bit of spiciness on the palate and just comes back. So I can't say I'm mad at that in the least whatsoever. The initial thought process before we go back the other way on this one is this first one on my left hand over here, which is, I think you're right. I have no idea. I'm terrible at this stuff. A little bit ahead, but let's go back the other way because sometimes that changes things. give it a smell a second time. Let the palate kind of rest for a second before we go into this. Here we go. Yeah, that actually, it's a touch thin, but it's got everything I want. That sweetness on the front kind of has a little honey, a little apple potentially. Gives way to just a little bit of spiciness, which I enjoy. I dig a lot. And the finish on it is a nice sweet finish. It's actually just a very nice subtle experience throughout your palate. It doesn't come and punch you in the mouth. It's pretty nice. So I come back to this one that's on this side, and what I dig about it is it does give me a little punch in the mouth. I want a little more bite for my whiskey at my point in my journey. I tell you, I think the flavors on this one are slightly better, but the punch I get here really sticks with me. This is a really tough choice, but I gotta make it pretty quick here because I'm not trying to drag things out too much. So we're gonna say this one that's moving on in this particular round is gonna be this one. We're gonna move this one off to the side over here, just so you know. It's going right here. You guys may still be able to see it in. It depends on how I'm cropped right now, if I crop in. We're gonna put this up against the competitor that's been in the wings waiting. So we now know this is the one that lost, and this is the new competitor. So let's finish this game of, this round of best of 3. And we're gonna let the champ go first. Excuse me, not the champ, the chump. Got that wrong. We're gonna let the chump go first. Yeah, such a weird alternating experience there to go back like from that spicier to that kind of subtle but spicy. I can't say I don't like it. I definitely do like it, but let's see what the new challenger has for us. Now, the new challenger introduces some flavors that I'm not sure I'm digging too much, to be honest with you. It's actually got just a lot of oak. Like it's more oaky, more tannic. It's not the greatest word, but you get the, it's more of an oak experience, I guess is the right way to say it. And I'm not sure it's hitting me right. Obviously, we're gonna give it a second chance so I can go back to back on it here in a second. Because what it does is it hits you really close to the front of the palate. I don't get a chance to enjoy anything on the front of the palate before I get a chance to really come in and say whether, you know, it's got a lot of sweetness, it's not. It's not as enjoyable to me. That's okay. Not everything is, right? But on second sip, I get a little more vanilla. I get a little hint of what I am interpreting to be a little bit like floral, but don't think like really sweet, smelly floral. Kind of like that underlying when you just go, something smells really fresh in here. It smells a little bit like flowers. Like that, but not like a big hit of floral, which is really kind of strange. I don't expect that out of any of these. I don't recall getting that out of any of these. We try to wash our dishes with like non-scented soap or rinse them really well if we have to use a scented soap. So it can't be the glass. All right, let's go back. Let's see what the chump has to say about that. The one-time loser already. Yeah, the chump is just the chump. It's a nice, enjoyable experience, but I can't say I'd write home about it. It's might be enough to take out the challenger here, but at the same time, I'm not sure. I really couldn't tell you. It's actually a really close race, and I'm actually kind of thinking a little more about having to have a sip of the challenger again, just because I'm now 6, 7, 8 sips in. I need to make sure I understand what I'm tasting. So one more real quick. Yeah, I can't get past that kind of floral soapy-ish note in there. I don't know where it's coming from. I know it's not the glassware, again, like I mentioned. I can't get past it, so I'm gonna have to say the second challenger, you're out. And I think it's kind of predictable how this might go. So this is the 1-1, and this is the 1-0, and it's only you know, 3 rounds, best of 3, so to speak. So doesn't matter. We can wipe out the records at this point. We're gonna have the one that lost to the one that lost to originally. So didn't think it'd go that way. I thought I'd have more of a kind of stepping stone, but hey, we'll see how this concept goes. I have no idea how it's working. I'm trying to record it as part of this full episode series too. So go back into that for a second. We'll let my palate rest. I'm recording these as full episodes, but I'm releasing them in segments. So if you're watching this as a segmented video, just this one thing, please remember, I'll link the cards at the top at the end. You can go watch the full video, all 3 segments that I've recorded on this particular session. All right, we're gonna give the chump the ultimate chance to come back. We're gonna let the chump go first again. I call it the chump. Man, it's just solid. It's just solid. It's tough like that. I feel bad now for call it the chump, man. I mean, obviously beat the other one here, but it's just a nice sweet up front experience. It's a nice consistent, got a little bit of that perfect amount of baking spice in there. I'd be happy with this. If you just handed this to me, I'd be really happy with this. I could sip on this. It feels like a good night starter. But that's not what I'm looking for all the time. I only start my night once. Want something I can drink a few of. So let's see if this one's still got that. Yeah. We're still gonna go back one more time, but this one offers me a little more. It's still got a little bit of sweetness up front. Still got all that beautifulness. I think I know where this is going, but we're gonna go back to the BA first, so B. Let it rest for a second, let it breathe. Man, that just has a nice, even late kind of piece to it that I really dig. Finish is actually longer. This being thinner, finish dies off on this real fast. Now I'm late in this tasting, so finishes are kind of hard to pull apart, but this distinctly sits over this one after having a couple sips. All right, we've got a winner here. It's not 100% clear decision, but it's a clear winner, split decision. So the order I've got from my left to right, your right to left probably is here to the middle glass, third place. All right, so let's see what the results are gonna be. Oh, number 2. So third place today, it's gonna be Yellowstone. I can't say I'm really surprised by this. We really enjoyed it at Limestone Branch, but at the same time, it's a step up in proof and I dig it, but it's not against these. These had nice nuance against them. I was curious to see if this would be the upstart and this would actually kind of come in and possibly weasel its way between the two kind of known entities, and it didn't quite do that for me in this session. So it is what it is. Let's reveal the second one, which is number 1. That's kind of surprising. I don't think anyone saw that coming, that the Michters Toasted Sour Mash, which I know is getting great reviews, actually came in second place to Elijah Craig Toasted in this case. I'll move the glasses out of the way. I'm not sure exactly what's happening with the focus on the camera, but y'all can just imagine. I'll come in a little close here. I am a little surprised. I really thought, based off what I'd heard about the Michters Sour Mash, that it was gonna actually just clean sweep. And I'm actually not the biggest fan of Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel. I do like it, but in this particular day, this is how this hit me. So we've got Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel first, Michters Sour Mash Toasted 2, and this Yellowstone, which is a nice pick in its own right, definitely a third place. So I can't thank you guys enough for watching this video. And so here's the thing. We've chopped this down and given this to you in your normal content size, but we are doing full episodes now. So I'm gonna make sure I link that above here. And if you wanna watch all the week's content that's made from one episode and cut down, go ahead and click that link above. Appreciate all of you. Cheers.